list here shortly.
Sounds good. I will go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. My name is Allison McKenzie, and I am the chair of the Historic Conservation Board. I would like to take a minute to remind everyone about the rules of this proceeding. This proceeding is at all times governed by the rules of procedure adopted by the board on September 26, 2011, amended March 23, 2015, last amended March 9, 2020. A copy of the rules of procedure is available for review online. All those planning to testify today, which does not include those solely making arguments such as attorneys, should stand and take an oath administered by the board's attorney. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. As such, the board reserves the right to deliberate in private. The Ohio rules of evidence do not apply to this hearing. However, professional rules of conduct do apply, and candor to the tribunal is required. The board members are citizen volunteers and are not paid for their service. They are treated as public officials under Ohio law. Any attempt to influence them, including but not limited to bribery, intimidation, retaliation, which may include contacting their employer in an attempt to exert influence, is punishable as a crime. All should be aware that this meeting is being recorded. Therefore, please speak clearly into your microphone and state your name and address for the record. In the event of any technical difficulties with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. All participants providing testimony must have both camera and audio features turned on in order to participate. With that said, let's proceed with the first item. I understand we have two items today. A few of the items that were publicized on the agenda are being continued. So Mr. Owen, I will turn it over to you for the first item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we get started, I did want to introduce Kate Meehan with us today. I don't recall if I had introduced her to the board before, but she is working for the city as a zoning plan examiner, and she will be helping out on the historic side of things as well. She started a few months ago, most recently worked for the State Historic Preservation Office in Columbus. So we are happy to have her here. And she is actually the case manager on item number 1. So she will be presenting this.
Okay, thank you, Doug. So our first item is an application for a certificate of appropriateness and zoning relief for the property at 219 Orchard Street, which is in the Over the Rhine Historic District. The applicant is requesting a dimensional variance of 2 feet for a 6-foot fence and gate in the side yard. The zoning code allows a 6-foot fence here. And the applicant is proposing to do an aluminum black picket style fence here, which would be appropriate for the historic district since wrought iron and cast iron fences are permitted here. And the aluminum fence would closely resemble the look of a wrought or cast iron fence. It would be black, which is an appropriate color. And we feel that the color would help it to blend in to the side walkway where it will be installed. And the applicant is requesting this relief. They've had some issues with trespassers, and so they are requesting the relief in order to secure and have a more safe walkway and backyard for their property. So the staff recommends to the Historic Conservation Board that the following action be taken. For the zoning relief, that the board approves the dimensional variance of 2 feet for an 8-foot fence in the side yard per plans and drawings submitted by Eric Fisher, owner, dated January 1st, 2023. And also for the certificate of appropriateness, that the board approve a certificate of appropriateness for 219 Orchard Street per the plans submitted by Eric Fisher, owner, dated January 1st, 2023, including any revisions submitted for permit subject to staff review and approval with the following condition: that the building permits must be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the certificate of appropriateness shall expire.
Thank you, Ms. Meehan. We do have an applicant, owner applicant signed up. Mr. Fisher, if you would like to add anything, let's get you sworn in.
Mr. Fisher, if you could just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What would you like to add for us today?
I don't have too much to add, really. It was included in the original application documents, but on Orchard Street, many of the adjacent buildings and other walkways throughout the street have fences in a similar fashion that are of a similar height, up to about 12 feet in height. And then additionally, the existing side fence of our neighbor on 221 Orchard Street, their fence is just over 7 feet tall. So the height variance will fit fairly well with the existing fences that are on the street, just as something to add that's included in our application documents. But beyond that, just don't really have anything else to add that hasn't been said already. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for either the applicant or staff? We don't have anyone else signed up, so if there are no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both the zoning relief and the certificate of appropriateness as laid out by staff.
Second.
I will call the roll. Ms. Smith Dobbins,
Yes.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to item number 2.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 2 is an applicant for a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of a detached garage as well as a building addition at 1411 Ryland Avenue in the Old Bond Hill Historic District. The property is currently owned by the Port Authority of Cincinnati, and they are in the process of stabilizing the building in preparation to sell it to an owner that will rehabilitate the building for residential use. There are the 2 structures that are proposed for demolition are not original to the building. We don't have solid dates on either one of the structures, but it's likely that both of them date to the 1920s. They do both appear in the 1937 Sanborn map, but earlier maps did not capture this area because it was not highly developed prior to that. So to the best of our knowledge, these structures were both built circa the 1920s. I will try to share my screen here. You can see the addition in the rear L corner of the building. Hopefully, it is in bad condition. The roof is missing, at least the wall is missing and has been replaced. And sorry, my screen is freezing again. So yeah, the addition is in very poor shape, and the garage is also in similarly bad condition. At least one wall is completely collapsed, the roof is collapsed, and portions of other walls have been boarded over to prevent trespassers, but both of them are beyond reasonable repair. The applicant did submit a structural report from an engineer that basically states that more than 85% of the addition would need to be rebuilt, and over 95% of the garage is collapsed or rotted. So making repair to both of those structures economically infeasible. So the applicant has applied for the demolition of those. So the remainder of the building would remain intact as it is. and it would be stabilized. So there are no other exterior changes proposed at this point. So staff does feel that these demolitions are appropriate in the interest of historic conservation. They are not character defining features of the building, and neither structure is highly visible from Ryland Avenue when viewed from the street due to the existing vegetation as well as their distance from the street. The addition's located on the rear of the building. It does extend into the side yard slightly, but most of that addition is behind the house itself. And the garage is placed at the rear alley. So as neither structure is highly visible and neither structure is a character defining feature, staff feels that the demolitions will not have an adverse effect on the character of the building itself. So with that being said, staff does recommend approval of the certificate of appropriateness for 1411 Ryland Avenue per the submitted plans, including any revisions submitted for permit subject to staff review and approval with the following conditions. That building permits must be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the COA shall expire.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. We do have two applicant owner reps signed up. If either of you would like to add anything, let's get you sworn in.
Mr. Herman, if you could unmute.
Yep.
Would you like
Hi.
to raise your right hand?
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do.
What would you like to tell us that wasn't already shared?
Honestly, not much. Mr. Owen did a great job. But yeah, we just plan to so it'll be the same contractor doing the demolition and then stabilizing the property. So we're just kind of waiting to get this approval so we can start the work.
Okay. That's all we have signed up. Board, do you have any questions for either the applicant or staff? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for 1411 Ryland Avenue as laid out by staff.
Second.
Okay, I will call the roll. Ms. Smith-Dobbins,
Aye.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
and Mr. Weiss.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you very much. It looks like you can move forward. I think we do have staff approvals on the agenda for this week. Were there any questions on those from the board?
There is actually with the glass block. What do we normally do there? If it's just case by case, is there an actual guidance on glass block stuff?
Right. Yeah, so window replacements are part of the staff delegation. Technically, that is for historically appropriate windows. But typically, with basement windows, a glass block replacement is fairly common to happen, even in historic districts. In this particular district, there are lots of other examples of glass block being installed in basement level windows. So yes, I did issue the staff approval to replace the glass block in this instance.
Oh, good. Thank you. Appreciate the answer.
Are there any other questions? If not, I will accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the staff COA approvals.
Second.
Thank you. I can't remember. Do we call the roll on this? I think we do, right?
Mhm.
No?
I
I thought.
think you can, yeah.
Okay.
David.
I'll call the roll. Ms. Smith-Dobbins,
Yes.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
and the chair votes aye. I think the only thing remaining to do is a motion on adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Allison.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.